There's more to Peppa Pig than meets the eye. This adorable cartoon hides some truly strange mysteries that fans can't ignore. So, let's kick things off with one of the weirdest and most visually obvious mysteries that's been driving fans wild for years. Have you ever noticed that every single house in Peppa Pig's world is built right on top of a hill? Like all of them. From Peppa's house to the school and even the stores, everything sits way up high on these weird steep slopes. Now, that's not just a cute art choice. It sparks some wild theories. One of the most popular explanations comes from the episode Flood, where we see that the area is prone to heavy flooding. So maybe, just maybe, Daddy Pig, who's conveniently an architect, knows this and designs everything at high altitudes on purpose. Smart, right? But if that's true, why don't we ever see rivers, dams, or proper drainage systems? Is this a climate disaster zone? Is Peppa Pig's town a post-flood survival community? Either way, this odd layout has sparked countless Reddit threads, and it's still one of the biggest visual puzzles in the entire show. Okay, here's something that just doesn't add up. Daddy Pig is supposed to be an architect, right? He designs buildings, creates models, and helps animals like Mr. Bull with construction. But for some reason, when it comes to using actual tools, he's a total disaster. In one scene, we literally see him trying to hammer a nail into the wall, and instead of a neat job, he smashes a giant crack into the plaster. And how does he fix it? By hanging a picture over it, like a cartoon cover-up straight out of a sitcom. Now, is this just meant to be funny? Or is it lazy storytelling? Because if you're telling kids that architects don't know how to use a hammer, it's kind of misleading. Fans have debated whether Daddy Pig is more of a paper architect or just another running gag character. But either way, it leaves us with more questions than answers. This next one is less obvious, but once you notice it, it'll blow your mind. Remember the classic story of the three little pigs? One was built with straw, another with sticks, and the smart one used bricks. Well, in Peppa Pig, there's a moment where Mr. Bull asks Daddy Pig what material he'll use for a house: straw, sticks, or bricks. Total throwback. That can't be a coincidence. It feels like a direct reference to the fable. So now fans are wondering, could Daddy Pig be descended from that brick-building pig? And if that's true, what does that make Peppa? A legacy pig in a long line of home-protecting builders? It gets deeper. Wendy Wolf and her family show up and blow on one of the houses to test its strength. Yeah, it's straight out of the same story. So maybe Wendy's family descends from the big bad wolf? A cute nod? Or secret canon? You decide. But that's not the only thing about Peppa's world that leaves us scratching our heads. Let's talk about one of the biggest identity crises in the entire show. Here's a wild thought. If everyone in Peppa Pig's universe is an animal, then what exactly are the doctors? Like Dr. Bear, she treats Peppa and other talking animals. But in our world, that would be considered a vet, right? Yet in Peppa's universe, she acts like a regular doctor. Now, it gets even weirder when we meet Dr. Hamster. She runs a full-on veterinary clinic, but only treats the non-speaking animals, like turtles, birds, and lizards. So now fans are wondering, are some animals more human than others? And what separates an animal person from a regular animal in this world? This blurry line creates a ton of confusion. Is Dr. Hamster the only actual vet, while others are considered human doctors, despite everyone being animals? The logic just doesn't hold. It's one of those bizarre contradictions that makes you question everything about this cartoon society. And speaking of animals being treated differently, this next mystery is way darker than most people realize. Let's be honest, the zoo episode in Peppa Pig is a little disturbing when you think about it. We see animals like penguins and turtles behind locked gates, kept from running away. But wait, aren't they animals just like Peppa and her friends? Why are some animals treated like citizens while others are locked up like, well, animals? The difference? The ones in the zoo don't talk, wear clothes, or act human. This opens up a pretty uncomfortable question. Is there a hierarchy in Peppa's world? The more evolved animals get houses and jobs, while the less intelligent ones are put in cages for public amusement? That starts to sound less like a zoo and more like a prison. Fans have speculated this might be an accidental commentary on social class or intelligence. Either way, it's hard to unsee once you've noticed it. And now, you'll never look at that penguin the same way again. And just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, let's talk about the guests in Peppa's world who don't even belong to the animal kingdom. All right, now this one breaks all logic. For the most part, Peppa Pig is about animals living like people. Cool. got it. But then, out of nowhere, you've got actual humans showing up, like pirates and even Santa Claus. Not to mention Mr. Potato, who's a full-grown vegetable with legs, a face, and even his own TV show. So now the question becomes, what are the rules of this world? How do animals, humans, and sentient beings all exist together? Do they eat vegetables while vegetables are alive? Is Santa the only human on Earth? And why is a literal potato more famous than Peppa? It's a confusing mix of biology and fantasy that breaks immersion. Some fans say it's all just part of the surreal humor, but others believe there's an entire alternate universe theory behind it. Either way, it's one of Peppa's most bizarre world-building choices. And now, let's zoom in on a detail that's so small, most people miss it. But once you catch it, it's impossible to ignore. In one episode, Madame Gazelle brings her 2 guinea pigs to be checked by none other than Dr. Hamster. Sounds normal, right? Until you realize that hamsters and guinea pigs look almost identical in Peppa Pig's world. But there's a twist. Guinea pigs live about 3 times longer than hamsters. So if we followed real-world biology, that means Dr. Hamster is treating pets who will likely outlive her. Is this an ironic joke about lifespan? Or just the animators reusing similar designs? Either way, fans can't help but point out the hilarious and slightly tragic dynamic between the doctor and her patients. And while we're talking about repeated patterns, here's one that messes with time itself. Once you spot this, you'll never unsee it. In Peppa Pig, every morning scene shows the clock stuck at 10 a.m. and every afternoon scene, yep, 4 p.m. It's almost like the animators said, let's not risk showing the wrong time. Just use the same 2 over and over. Now, it probably helps avoid continuity errors, but after a while, it gets super noticeable. Fans online have joked that time doesn't move in Peppa's universe. Is it just lazy animation or a weird artistic choice? Either way, it's one more oddity in a show full of strange background details. Now let's dive into a character that fans are seriously suspicious of, and for good reason. Let's not beat around the bush. Mr. Fox is shady. In one episode, he appears just as Grandpa Pig is guarding chickens from predators. Talk about suspicious timing. But here's the kicker. Outside the police station, you'll spot 2 wanted posters. Look closely, and you'll see they match the logo on Mr. Fox's van. That's some sneaky storytelling right there. Fans are convinced he's a con artist, maybe even a serial thief. But it gets even juicier. His son, Fred Fox, dresses up as a police officer. Is it a case of father and son on opposite paths? Or is Fred unknowingly preparing to arrest his dad one day? It's ironic, dramatic, and very un-kid show-like. But hey, it makes for some seriously wild fan theories. Let's talk about Mr. Lion, the zookeeper with a toothy smile and a terrifying implication. In one episode, Madame Gazelle says not all animals eat vegetables. Mr. Lion then smirks and refers to her as Madame Gnu, a direct nod to a type of prey that lions hunt in the wild. Fans were quick to pick up on this creepy moment. Is this just a cheeky animal pun? Or is Peppa Pig hinting at something darker? If Mr. Lion ever forgets where he is, things could get messy. It's funny until you realize the predator-prey instincts might still be lurking beneath the surface. Thanks for watching. If these moments blew your mind, just wait till you see what we've got next. Hit that like button, subscribe for more wild breakdowns, and drop your favorite moment in the comments below.